Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing well. Thank you to all my subscribers and all those who watch my video. Thank you very much. Please, if you have not subscribed, click on the subscribe button and also click on the notification bell to be notified every time I upload a new video. Today's video, I will be showing you how to make a princess dart bustier long gathered gown. This is going to be a gathered gown. Please watch to the end of the video. Thank you. For the upper bodice, I will be using a princess dart bustier pattern which I have made before and have also posted on this channel to cut out my fabric, and I'll be dropping the link on how I made this in the description box. But I will be making some adjustments on the neck line. The pattern, I used the neck width of 3 inches and a neck depth of 3 inches in front, but I will be adjusting that. For the neck width depth in front, I will be using 4 inches. I'll come down by 1 inch, and the neck width, I would extend it also by 1 inch, and I would join using my curve ruler, making the neck 4 inches by 4 inches for the front neckline. The neck depth is 4 inches and the neck width is 4 inches. Then for the back neckline, I'll also extend the neck width by 1 inch, so that the neck width for the front and the back will be the same. I will come out by 1 inch, but I will maintain the neck depth of 1 inch for the back. I'll also connect and cut that out. So for the back neckline, I have a neck width of 4 inches and a neck depth of 1 inch. I also used a short sleeve pattern which I've made and also have on this channel to cut out my sleeves, and I'll be dropping the link in the description box. And for my gathers, I have cut using the whole length of the Ankara fabric, which is 45 inches. But for the width, I've used 3 yards, that is 108 inches, and I've divided that into 2 equal parts, one for the front and the one for the back. I've also divided again into 2 equal parts because I will be adding a zipper at the back. I also cut out a long strip for the belt, and I have unfold a width of 2.5 inches and a length of about 76 inches. This gathered dress would have an inner pocket, so I've folded some fabrics. I have 4 layers of fabric, and the width of my pocket is 7 inches, and I'm drawing out my pocket just as I'm demonstrating. So I'll be having 4 pieces, 2 for each side of the dress. So after cutting out all my pieces, I will then join them together. I will be joining the front piece by the darts. I have joined the front part of the upper bodice, and I've also notched where I joined. I did same for the lining. I joined them separately. And then for the back piece, the back part of the upper bodice, I've sewn in my darts on both the fabric on the lining. Next, I will join the front and the back piece by the shoulder. I will join them right sides facing each other. I'll place them properly, and I would use 1/2 inch seam allowance to join and hold the shoulders together. I will do same for the lining as well. I have joined both the main fabric and the lining piece by the shoulder, and I ironed open the shoulder seam. So next thing will be to use the lining to turn the neckline for the main fabric. I have placed my main fabric. The right side of the main fabric will be touching the right side of the lining, and I'll pin all around the neckline. I'll match the seams. I'll make sure that the seams are well matched. I'll make sure that the seams are well matched, and I'll use half inch or less than half inch to sew round the neckline. I'll also top stitch towards the lining side. I'll top stitch the neckline towards the lining side. Next, I will be joining the front side and the back piece of our upper bodice. I'll be joining them by the side using the seam allowance I left for it. I'll join the main fabric separate and the lining separate. I'll sew with the right side of the front and the right side of the back facing each other. Then I would sew in using the seam allowance I left for side seam. I'll pin them all and sew them together, right side facing each other. I'm sewing the seam, the lining separate and the main fabric separate. Next, I will turn the zipper allowance side using half inch seam allowance. For the skirt part of this dress, I would hem the lower part and then I'll run a gather stitch on the upper part where I'll be attaching to the upper bodice. So I have run a gather stitch. For you to run a gather stitch, you would lower your stitch regulator to the lowest point and you would sew without back stitching, and that's what I have done. And I will gather the front piece to half of my waist measurement, and for the back pieces I would gather them to quarter of the waist measurement I'm working with plus the zipper allowance. I would gather and I will evenly distribute the gathers. I will gather them and make sure I have, for the front piece I have half of the waist I'm working with, and for the back quarter of the waist plus the zipper allowance. The gathers will also include the side seam allowance that I'll use in joining them together. The next thing will now be to attach my pockets, the inner pockets. So I have placed the front part of my skirt and I would arrange my pockets. I would arrange the inner pockets on the side. From the top part I'll come down by 2 inches, and that's where my pocket will start from. I would indicate the 2 inches and I'll pin my pockets from that 2 inches down. I'll also bring the back pieces and place them so that the start point will be the same, and the pockets I'll arrange them in such a way that the pocket on the front side is aligning with the pocket on the back side, and I'll pin my pocket on both the front piece and on the back piece. And for the pockets, the right side of the pocket will be facing the right side of the fabric. I will sew and top stitch towards the pocket side. After attaching the pockets, I will then join the skirt parts by the side. I'll use 1 inch, and where I have the pocket I'll be sewing round by half inch. Just as you see me pin, that's how I would sew. I'll sew from the start to the pocket and then down to the main fabric using 1 inch seam allowance. I will do so for the 2 sides. So I've joined them by the sides, as you can see, and the next thing now will be to attach the skirt part to the upper bodice. I would go on and pin. I'll make sure that the seam sides are matching, the seam sides up and the one down on the skirt are matching. Then I'll pin all round, joining the upper bodice to the lower skirt that I've made. I would pin them all round, and then I will sew using half inch seam allowance to hold both the upper part and the lower part together. After pinning them together, I'll go to my machine and sew them together. And after joining, the next thing I will do will be to attach my zipper. But before I attach my zipper, I would measure from the skirt part. I'll measure 7 inches where the zip would stop, and then I'll sew the remaining part together using 1 inch seam allowance. I have joined the upper bodice to the skirt part, and I have also sewn in the center back where I will not be attaching the zipper, and I have only the part where I will be attaching the zipper open. So I would now pin my zipper I'll pin my zipper and then sew in my zipper. After sewing in my zip, I will also sew in the basic sleeve to the dress. I'll sew in the basic sleeve to the dress. So after doing all these, I also sewed up the belt I cut out. I sewed using 1/2 inch and I left a space at the center about 2 inches where I would use in turning out the belt, and after turning out I will also sew and close that part. And this is it on how to make a bustier gathered long dress with inner pockets. These are pockets. I've attached the sleeves as well, and my zipper. I've attached everything. Please like this video. Subscribe to my channel if you have not subscribed. Click on the notification bell to be notified each time I upload a new video. And see you again in my next video. Bye.